Hi, I'm Darren from Property Prosperity, and today I'm fortunate enough to be joined by James Tsimopoulos from Nationwide Companies. I thought I'd get him along today just to give us some information. He's actually quite heavily involved in mortgage broking and tax as well as real estate and a whole pile of different things associated with property. But I thought we'd have a bit of a chat today about particularly mortgage broking and getting finance, whether that be for a first home buyer or an investor. Also, I thought maybe you can just give us a bit of a background about his company and what it is that how he got to his position in right now. So, James, can you give us a bit of more information about Nationwide Companies and what it is they actually do?
Yep, no worries. Thanks, Darren. It's great to be here. So basically, Nationwide Companies is a financial advisory firm. So we handle accounting, tax, mortgage broking, and financial planning. So we kind of aim in helping everybody obtain finance and secure their tax liabilities and all that kind of thing. So basically our goal in life is to help as many people as we possibly can in those particular areas. We have a motto at our office, and that is it's not about how much change you make, but rather about how much change you make. So we talk about helping and changing as many people's lives as we can, because from that we follow the benefits of that comes with it. Yeah.
Excellent. And so you're obviously a local company. You started out locally, and who's involved in the company?
It's my father, Steve Tsimopoulos, my brother, Yanis Tsimopoulos, my mother, Vessi Tsimopoulos. So it's a family business, and then we've got a couple of employees that work for us in all different arms. Like I said, we're all in charge of handling different areas. My dad's in charge of handling the accounting side, my brother's a financial planner, and I'm handling the mortgage broking side and the real estate section. Yeah. And
so you started out as this group as a family. It sounds a bit like the Jacksons, but for finance and accounting. Or
that's right.
Is that what it started? So your father started the business out, and then you all joined in, or?
Yeah. Well, my father was an accountant at 20 years ago now, so that's when he started off. And then when I finished school, I wanted to be just like him, so I went straight to school and started accounting. Got through that. From there, I became an accountant and I was working for him. And then obviously, evolving. We thought we'd get into mortgage broking, which was the next step. People coming in to get their finance. We had a few mortgage brokers ringing up and asking for some of our clients' financials to secure finance for them. So we thought, why send our clients away when we can just do it all ourselves here? So I went and obtained my certificate in mortgage broking, and we became mortgage brokers.
Okay.
From there,
So what is it? How do I know? If I'm out talking to a mortgage broker, or I'm talking to someone saying they're a mortgage broker, or how do I know that they've got the qualifications or the skills that I need in mind to help me out?
Okay, it's actually quite hard, because years ago it was actually quite easy to obtain a certificate in mortgage broking, so anybody could become a mortgage broker. Nowadays it's quite difficult, which is good, I guess, good for people that are doing the right thing. But in terms of, look, you really have to sit down and nut it out with them. A good mortgage broker will know the ins and outs of every finance deal possible. Dealing with investors, there's different deals. Dealing with first home buyers, there's different deals, and dealing with people that just want to purchase a refinance. Everything's different, so you really have to know the ins and outs of everything, and that's a good thing about our company. We're pretty big on technology. Technology is kind of the glue that holds it all together. In our office, if you come in, it's all about building platforms. If you come into our office or if you visit us online and you make an inquiry, that inquiry is logged and it's sent off to the relevant area. So it's just about knowing all the different, because there's so many banks out there nowadays. You haven't just got the big four anymore. There's hundreds out there, and sometimes it's better to go with the littler banks, which is what we sometimes recommend. But a lot of people think that it might just be the interest rate that makes all the difference, but that's not true. Some banks charge significant fees at the end of the year. Some of them charge $900 to $1,000 a year just in admin fees. So that's kind of ridiculous. Over a 30-year home loan term, you work that out, it's quite a bit. There's so many different strategies that you have to work through. So when we sit down with a client, we go through. It's a lengthy process to make sure we set up the best deal for that client.
So I suppose there might be a few people out there might be wondering whether, obviously they can just go to the bank themselves and they can just negotiate with the bank, and obviously I'm assuming you'd probably be able to get a better deal than how much do I have to pay to get you to help me out, and what does it cost, and why would I consider using you to come and help me out rather than just going direct to the bank? Okay,
well, I'll start off with saying it doesn't cost a cent to go see a mortgage broker unless that mortgage broker wants to charge you. We don't do that, but 99% of mortgage brokers don't charge anything. The bank pays the broker, so it doesn't cost the client at the end of the day anything extra to see a mortgage broker rather than a bank. The problem with seeing a bank is that you're only seeing the bank. If you go to the Commonwealth Bank, you're only seeing the Commonwealth Bank, so they're going to sell you their products. Now, if you come to us, we deal with the Commonwealth Bank, Adelaide Bank, we deal with pretty much every bank in Australia. So we'll find the best deal possible, whether it's the Adelaide Bank, or whether it's Commonwealth Bank, or whether it's First Mac, which is a non-bank lender. So we've got a whole range of banks that we can work with. And like I said, it's not costing you a cent, and you're dealing with an expert, you know. So whether it's a mortgage broker down the road, they're likely to be an expert in that area. So they're going to know exactly where to find the deal that you're after. So you're not just going to the one bank and saying, you know, what's the best interest? They're not going to try and sell you an Adelaide Bank product if you're going to the Commonwealth Bank. So that's probably the benefit of seeing a mortgage broker. You're getting expert advice, and you'll be able to see a whole range of lenders, not just the one.
And what do we say if I was a first home buyer or or whether I was an investor? Does that mean my different product I'd you know, as far as lending wise, would it be a different? You give me different advice if I was first home buyer compared to a investor?
For sure. Like I said, it's a lengthy process. So we'll sit down for half an hour, 45 minutes for the initial appointment. And go through your exact needs. Are you a first home buyer? Have you got any savings? Because that does change. I mean, 99% of the time when we put a deal through, the bank will turn around and say, look, if your client can put in an extra $5,000 deposit, we'll drop these fees down by this much, or we'll lower the interest rate by this much. It creates more of a security for them. So that's something we need to look at. We'll speak to the client and say, look, can you borrow $5,000 from your parents, you know, just for now, and then pay them back over time? It's going to save you, in the long run, it's going to save you this much money, for example. So,
And as far as if you were going to give us any advice as far as getting finance to make sure, obviously, I suppose for most people, it's really, they just want the money. They don't really care how they get the money. They just want the money, and whichever way they can get the money, that's all they want. So, would you give them any advice, particularly now? Say if I'm not even looking at, you know, I haven't even purchased a property yet. Would you say I should be coming talking to you now, or do I wait until I've purchase the property and then I come and talk to you?
No, I would certainly say to come in beforehand, even if you're not, even if it's a year or 2 or 3 years down the track, because when a bank looks at your home loan, when we put the application through, they'll go through a series of things to look at, and they'll look at your history as well. So if you've, you know, we have to get you on track, you know. So if you, for example, if you've made missed payments on your mobile phone, they'll see that, and that will raise fees straight away. And little things like that, they'll see, and then you got to really get into a savings plan. Because if you've got no savings, the fees might be, you know, enormous. So it's definitely good to go. Even if you're not in the market to buy a property, I'd always say to go see a mortgage broker just to have a look, see what they're saying. If you've been in your home loan 2 or 3 years, I'm 99% sure that if you go see someone, or even if you look up online, there's a website called, I think it's ratecity.com, where you can actually go on there and it will give you every bank in Australia, and it will tell you what the interest rates are and what their fees are. So if you go on there and you put in your details, I'm 99% sure you'll find a better deal out there than what you're at the moment. And like I said, it doesn't cost you anything to refinance, just a little bit of time to go see your broker, get some information together, you know, your tax returns, your income, things like that. And I mean, even if you're only saving yourself $100 a month, compounded over a 30-year term, it's a lot of money.
I suppose the other interesting thing is, for me, I think, so you're concerned about this whole internet revolution, wherever I can just get online and look at the best deal and wheel and deal and all that sort of stuff online. You worried that then suddenly, you know, you become redundant and people think, well, why would I go and see James if I can just get online and check it out myself?
I'm not worried at all. Reason being is that we can do finance for anyone in Australia. So if you're in Melbourne, we can do a loan for you in Melbourne. We'd have to see you face to face. So we just get into videos, blogs, things like that, try and make our internet awareness a bit better so we can, you know, service those people. But no, I'm not worried about that at all, because like I said, we can definitely help them. And look, at the end of the day, if we can't help you, if we can get you online, but it's not better than what you're in, then we're going to tell you. You know, even by law, we have to tell you that anyway. So we're going to tell you we can't help you. So
is there other things for me to look at? I suppose. Well, I imagine there's probably other things. You know, I imagine these internet companies that just sort of compare rates. I'm sure there's more to a loan than just the rates.
Definitely. Oh yeah, for sure. Like I said earlier, there's more to the rates, and that's why going to see an expert is good, because even little things like making your repayments fortnightly instead of monthly will help you pay off your home loan, you know, much quicker, because there's 26 fortnights in a year, and if you're paying fortnightly, you're actually paying an extra month off in that year. It might be a little bit extra you're paying for that year, but in the long run, you're building your equity up and you're lowering your principal on your home loan. So it's better in that sense. So going to see your mortgage broker is definitely a great thing, because, you know, they can give you advice like that, which the bank might not give you, because they want to obviously keep you in that loan for as long as possible. Because the longer you're in that loan, the more money they're going to be making.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. And so is there one thing or maybe a couple of things you'd like for us to take away if we were if we're looking at buying a property, is there a particular tip you'd sort of say we have to look out for or have to consider before we get into that thing?
First thing, depends who you're looking at. If it's first home buyer, I would say start young, start early. There are certain accounts now. There's one called the First Home Buyers account, where you can actually put your money in there and it's locked in there for about 3 or 4 years, but they pay you a significantly high interest rate on the money that you put in there. So any money that you deposit in there, you'll get a higher return on. So I would definitely say start young, because if you get older, it's harder to start saving. You get more responsibilities. For everyday people, just keep an eye on your finances. Make sure you don't fall behind in any other bills, because when you go to get a home loan and you've got some prior history like that, it can cause problems and it will raise your fees, and it's just not worth it. Like if you can't afford your mobile phone, drop it down. Ring up Optus and drop down your payments. It's not worth risking.
So it sounds like you look at it a bit more of an advisory role, as a bit of a partnership where you sort of can guide people through, and it's not just sort of a one-off, let's just get the loan and that's it. It's sort of more let's plan ahead and let's work out where we're going to go in the future.
Yeah, well that's right. I mean, it's sort of about the future. Like I said, usually people are refinancing every 3 to 4 years. So if we look after the client, they're going to come back to us in 3 or 4 years and refinance. Not only that, because we've got the other arms of the business, we have to look after every arm of the business, like tax, for example. People are coming to see us every 3 months to do their BAS statements and things like that. So it's not just a one-off thing. We'll see you later. We'll see you in 4 years. We'll try and secure them to help them with their tax as well. So we definitely try and look after our clients as much as possible, and that's the whole aim of it. It's a family business, so at the end of the day, the way my dad always says it, that if something happens and something goes wrong, it's not just one person that's out of business. We're all out of business, So if the business goes down, it's a whole family that's gone down, really, not just So we try our hardest to do the best we can.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you very much for joining us today, James, and hopefully you've got some tips. I've definitely got some interesting things out of that. So feel free to give James a call. We'll put his... actually, what is your website, James, if we were to contact you?
Yeah, it's just www.nationwidefinance.com.au, and you can find all the contact information on there.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for that, James, and I hope you got something out of that, and I look forward to joining you next time.